everyone and welcome back to Roll the Credits. My name is Hannah and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite TV shows at the moment, Outlander. I started watching Outlander about 2 or 3 months ago, and since then I've actually managed to read the first book as well. So this video is going to be a comparison between season 1 and the first book, as well as some discussions about season 4 because the final episode is airing tomorrow, so that's gonna be very exciting. So yeah, let's get into it. So if you don't know what Outlander is, it is a TV show on Starz, I believe, in America, and it's based on the books by Diana Gabaldon, and she's written, I think there's 8 books out at the moment, and they're all like 900 pages long. They're ridiculously long, but they're really good. So the basis of this story in general, it's a year of 1946, and this lady called Claire Randall, who then turns out to be our main character, she visits the Highlands or Inverness with her current husband Frank Randall, and they go away for like a second honeymoon just to like reconnect after World War II because they've both been off separate ways, him as a soldier I believe and her as a combat nurse. So they kind of reconnect in Scotland, where she finds herself intrigued by the mysteries and the myths about Scottish Highland culture. One day she goes to these standing rocks that form like a little rock circle, kind of like the Stonehenge. Don't kill me for saying Stonehenge, but it's kind of like Stonehenge. No one really knows what they're there for, but one day she goes there, she touches them, and all of a sudden she wakes up and it is 743 or something like that. So she goes back in time 200 years in Scotland and ends up meeting a bunch of old Scottish Highlanders who rescue her from the hands of Black Jack Randall, who is suspiciously similar to her husband Frank. So it turns out that Black Jack Randall is her like husband's 6th grandfather or something like that. He is not a nice man. She does end up in the arms and the company of Scottish Highlanders, and with them is James Fraser, who she gets to learn the name as Jamie McTavish, I believe. He and the rest of the Mackenzie clan kind of take her in, suspicious about who she is, calls her Sassenach and Sassenach, I can't say it. They call her Sassenach? Sassenach. Sassenach.
Sassenach. An English person. An outsider. Say it with me. Sassenach.
Sassenach. So they call her that because that means Outlander. English women think that she's an English spy, but then the English think that she's a Scottish spy, and someone thinks she's a French spy, and it's just all over the place. But anyway, that is pretty much the story. She ends up in the 1700s with Scottish Highlanders, and she has to survive, and through that there is a wonderful love story and just general getting to know each other and learning about each other's differences, especially coming from 200 years in the future. Things are very different, especially for a woman, because a woman doesn't really have a place in the Scottish Highlands. Even though it is like the 1940s that she comes from, like compared to now, she doesn't have a lot of rights and stuff in the 1940s either. So I pretty much watched season 1 to 3 in like 2 seconds. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I even went up to Scotland just to like hang around the Scottish mood and see a couple of places where they filmed. So I decided I wished for this for Christmas, and I pretty much read it in 3 weeks, and I'm someone who does not read. Some first thoughts about the book versus the series that I had while reading it was, my actual first thought was the series is better than the book, which a lot of people don't usually say, but there was just some things that in the book were just very weird. For example, if you watch the series or if you've read the book, there's a scene right after Jamie and Claire get married and they go out, and in the series, I'm going to talk about the series first because I've watched the series first. So in the series they go out to have some sexy times. They're like in a field, and while they're right in the act, 2 English soldiers come and stop them, take a knife to Jamie's throat, and then the other one tries to rape Claire. And in the series, as soon as they get out of that situation, Claire goes into full shock, which I felt was very appropriate. She goes into shock and she doesn't really know what to do. She's shaking, she's getting cold, she's just like completely does not know what's happening. I thought that was such a good like reaction to what just happened. But in the book, like in the book that happens, they kill the 2 Englishmen and then they have sex under a tree, and it was just so weird. It was so odd. It was such an odd reaction to something horrible that just happened. He almost died, she almost got raped, and then for some reason that turns them on and gets them in the mood to have sex and retreat. Just didn't make sense to me. Details like that, some scenes that just were better in the series. Like, I preferred the wedding night scene in the series as well. The book, it was too perfect. Like, some of the scenes are just too perfect in the book, whereas in the series they kind of delve into it and they kind of take bits from throughout the book and merge it into different scenes, and I feel that that just works a lot better. Someone said that they preferred the ring giving scene in the book towards what was given in the series. In the series, she gets a ring, a wedding ring made out of the key to Jamie's home, and I thought that was super freaking romantic. Whereas in the book, she gets a ring and on the inside it's engraved like, "Give me 1,000 kisses," something that they bring back in season 4. Something, however, that I did think that the book did a lot better than the series is the scene when they say "I love you" for the first time. So they kind of realize after a couple weeks, a couple of months of being married, they kind of go, "We haven't really said I love you." In the series, Jamie kind of just says that this was the moment when I fell in love with you and that's how I felt ever since. And then the scene kind of ends, whereas in the book, they say the same things and then Jamie says, "Why have you never said I love you even though you feel that you love me?" And Claire says, "It's because if I say it, I don't know if I could ever stop loving you." And I just thought that was like the most romantic shit I've ever read in my entire life. And yeah, so some things this book gets so right, and then some bits it just does not get right at all. But I do really enjoy reading this book. I have just read the first book and haven't read book 2, 3, or 4. I can't really compare them. I will be reading book 2 as soon as I get my hands on it. I'm currently reading another book. That's not what we're here to talk about. So I thought to fill out this video, I'll talk a little bit about series 4 and my thoughts about it, because as I said in the beginning, the last episode is airing tomorrow, which makes me very, very sad because I just got into watching Outlander and it's such a good show and I can't believe I have to wait an entire year or more to see more of Claire and Jamie. So let's say some good and bad things about series 4. The best thing, I love the entire, like, in the beginning when Jamie and Claire come to America in the beginning, they kind of settle down, they go to his aunt's house and Claire sees slaves and she's like, "I cannot live here, I cannot live on a property where they have slaves." And I just think that that was such a good thing, that coming from 1940s, she's seen the progress of slavery and how it's ended, and she's just like, despite it being the 1700s, she cannot live in a place with slaves. Even though it's normalized in the 1700s, it's just something that she cannot accept. And I also like how Jamie kind of embraces whatever Claire tells him, and it makes him understand on like a future level. Even though he's never been in the future, he still understands that things do get better, and he also relates to slavery and the Brits and all the colonizers coming to America and taking over the natives' land, and he kind of relates to that, how the English came up to Scotland and like ruined the whole clan culture of Highland Scotland. And I just feel that they really tie it well together. Something I also really enjoy about season 4 is that despite them being 50 years older now, something like that, it's just so nice to see them happy and together and living in the same place after like the series 3 that was just completely separated them for a really freaking long time, like 20 years long time. But one thing that I don't like about, speaking of time and years and how long time has progressed, something I noticed when reading the book is because it's from Claire's perspective, she can tell us how long it's gone. So she's like, it's been 4 weeks, it's been 6 days, it's been 3 days, blah blah blah. It just gives us, the audience or the reader, a good perspective of how long time's actually passed. But in the series, especially season 4, I have no idea how much time has passed, because all of a sudden something happens and then it's apparently 4 weeks later, even though I didn't even realize it was 4 weeks later. Like, there's no really good understanding of how much time has passed. Another thing I'm not entirely fond of with season 4 is, I think it's because we got so used to it just being Claire and Jamie, but now there's more characters, there's more major characters who take place. And I'm not saying that just because I just want to see Claire and Jamie being happy in a relationship. I do want that, but I just feel that it's been too little of Claire and Jamie this season. There's been a lot of Brianna, there's been like 2 whole episodes about Roger, and I just feel that maybe we can, like, what is happening to Claire and Jamie during this time, we kind of miss that out. I kind of wish that we could see from both perspectives. We could see what's happening back on Fraser's Ridge, as well as what's happening with Brianna or what's happening with Roger. It doesn't have to be that split, if you know what I mean. But yeah, with the last episode coming tomorrow, I don't know how I'm going to cope with the, I'm not going to say it, the DROUGHTLANDER. The DROUGHTLANDER is coming. I've never been part of the DROUGHTLANDER, but here we are, and I'm saying DROUGHTLANDER. It's gonna be a long time of no Outlander, so I'm gonna take that time to read up to season 5. I might not even read book 5 because I want to be surprised when watching the TV show. So I'm gonna read book 2, book 3, and book 4 before season 5, and then once season 5 is over, I'm gonna read book 5. So yeah, that is my little review and comparison between the book and the TV show of Outlander. If you've never watched the series, definitely go check it out. I believe it's on Netflix, at least it's on the Swedish Netflix, and for some reason my account is still attached to Sweden, so I can watch Outlander till I die. But yeah, if you haven't read the book, read the book. It's 845 pages, something like that, and I read it in 3 weeks, and I'm someone who does not read. I'm so excited to read the next couple of books, see how they play out in comparison to the series. If you don't know already, this channel is all about TV shows and films, and also various different types of pop culture, including books apparently. If you do enjoy watching people talk about pop culture, TV shows and film, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. It would mean the world to me. I make videos every Saturday, and Oscar season is coming up. They just announced the Oscar nominees the other day, but I was in the cinema watching Bohemian Rhapsody, so I couldn't actually make a reaction video of it, so I'm making this video instead. But I will be watching all of the Oscar nominees and coming to you with some Oscar predictions, so make sure you subscribe so don't miss out on those, and I will see you again next Saturday with a new video. What can I say? Roll the credits.